Hello, fellas. Had a lot of people ask me to do more videos on this 2008 Nissan Maxima. So today we're going to do a simple one, but my assumption is you probably already know how to do this process, but some people might not. As time has passed, these vehicles become more affordable, get handed down, and you see them a lot in used car lots and bargain lots, I guess you could call them, whatever it is that you call them wherever you're at. So today I'm going to show you how to change the oil in a 2008 Nissan Maxima. One of the very first things you're going to need, which is pretty important, are the ramps. The reason why, unless you happen to be about yay tall, you're not going to fit under here without it. So you're going to need a set of ramps for this, y'all. Make sure you get you a set. The ramps are just so we can get underneath it easier, where it's so low to the ground. These cars are really, excuse me, are really low to the ground. This will help us achieve what we need to be able to get under it and safely get under it. Make sure put your vehicle up on you can use jack stands. I have a set of ramps. Either one, you just want to get it up enough where you can get underneath it. Make sure on the back tire when you do this that you scotch it, because you sure don't want this rolling off while you're underneath it regardless. So make sure you do that. Even if you got jack stands, make sure you do that. So after we do that right there, all we're going to do is make sure it's secure, and then we'll move forward. So on this vehicle, on the front of it, there's your dipstick, which is great. It's right in the front, you can reach it. Some vehicles I've seen, they're down in the sides, you can't reach them. They're in the back, you can't reach them. I don't see a lot in the back anymore. Usually in the back you'll see other things, but usually these are somewhere remotely. And I've 10 on the Nissan Toyota, they're always yellow, which is great. If you're still unsure, it says engine oil. That way you know, that's how you check the oil. So after you get done with that, start it run for a minute. All you got to do is pull this out, and we're going to check how much oil's in it. See if the level's accurate. Now to be off a little bit because we are sitting on an uphill ramp, uphill incline where we're on the ramps, we're on jack stands. That's all right, it'll kind of give us a ballpark. When you get underneath here, underneath the vehicle, here's the exhaust. To the left of the exhaust, which is actually on the right side of the vehicle, where the passenger side's at, see the oil pan. Right here is a 14 millimeter. Loosen that up. There's also, you can see there's a copper washer on this thing right here. Take that loose, let that drain. The worst thing about this vehicle specifically is for some reason they put the oil filter right there. In order to access that, there's an access panel that you have to pop the things out of in order to get to it. So I'll show you that when we get there. 14 millimeter, take it loose and let it drain. Here's a better view of the copper washer. Goes on the drain plug. Now here's the passenger side front tire cover right here. There's some snaps that connect, body snaps. There's one there, I think there's one right here. Best thing I just found was just to take one of them loose, or two of them. The main ones, there's one right back here. See it's located right there. Take that loose. Once you take that loose, see this indent right in behind it is the oil filter, so you can reach it. But you have to take that snap loose. This body panel snap loose right there for this inner fender cover. I believe that's what you call that piece. But anyway, you have to take that loose in order to reach this oil filter. Once you do, you should reach right in there with your hand and take it loose. Common thing I see that happens is they end up with leaks is when they pull the oil filter off. You have to make sure the seal comes with the oil filter. When you look up there, all you should see is metal once you take it loose. As you can see here, if I can get it to go in a little bit. I guess not. Either which way, there it is. Either which way, you want to make sure that you see all metal. You want to make sure you do not see any rubber left on there from the oil filter. Never. Because once you do that, you put the new one on, it doesn't, you got to tighten it down. Either one, you'll over tighten it and strip the threads on that, or worst case, you put it all on there, do all this work, and then it leaks, and then you gotta get right back under here and do it again. So Make sure that that's like that, and what I always do is make sure it looks like that. And I'll actually wipe it off. You don't have to wipe it off, but I wipe mine off, and then I would take the new oil filter, and you just want to lube it up with some fresh new oil. So a lot of people just grab a finger on that, wipe it on there, but I don't do that because I don't know what's in that oil. There might be pieces of anything over time, wire, engine failure, anything could be on that with metal shavings or anything. So I always use good fresh oil. Go around the oil filter seal. So what I end up doing, dip my finger right down the end of it and see a light coat around it, and I pour just a little bit in it because you can't fill these all the way up because it mounts sideways. Put a little bit in it, and I just started over this right here, and I just rolled it around just a little bit, get a little lubricated, so that way it lubricates inside of that. See some of it's still leaking out. So go like this and go a little bit, so that way when I put it up there, worry about leaking everywhere. Do that. The oil filter, which this is a frame one, but you can convert the numbers over, is PH6607. It's upside down, of course. I noticed on these frame filters, the 6607 is the same, and it changes the first two numbers for like EG for extra guard and yada yada for XG for extra guard and whatever. So it's be a higher quality oil filter. I'm not really sure on that, but these numbers are the same. If you go with another brand, you should be able to get on. I noticed on Fram's website, and I'm only promoting, well, I guess I'm only going to show you the Fram on this specific video because last night I noticed on their web page, if you go to their page and you type in this oil filter or your vehicle and it gives you this one, you can go down the bottom, it says competitors comparison or something like that, part number, competitors part number. It'll give you the part number for every single oil filter that matches this identical filter right here. So if they don't have a 6607, hop on Fram's webpage and you can get on there and you can see all the different part numbers. So if you decide to get it from a part store, it'll tell you what the part number. It'll even tell you, believe it or not, I seen on there the Super Tech brand, which comes from Walmart distributor. So if I was you, I'd make sure that you check their website. I thought that's pretty neat. Most people don't do that. But either which way, 6607 for this one. Another pet peeve that I see all the time, and the issue is when you put these oil filters on, like this one, you see these tools, I make some like this, it goes right over the end of it, and then they make some of them, it just grabs outside of it and all that, okay? You want to use one of these, great. Whatever makes the job easier, but let me tell you a piece of advice, alright? And please take this to heart. When you put this oil filter on, all you need this thing on is hand tight. So put it on there and just hand tight. Let me rephrase, hand tight. That don't mean tighten the piss out of it. Just hand tight. Good. It's on there, it's good. Don't use one of these right here or any of these other tools and put that on there and scrunch that down. And here's why. It is just hand tight. Whenever the vehicle starts actually getting warm, it'll cause that seal to set in there because, you know, the engine gets warm. So it causes the metal to move and stuff in the threads. What happens is it'll get warm in there and that will seat and will set fine tight. If you over tighten it, right now the engine's cold. When you over tighten it with one of these wrenches or any of these other kind of things, what happens is you can't get it off. And so if you don't have a wrench tool, or you know, you took it by one of those places and they changed the oil in it, they're really bad to over tighten these. So what happens if you over tighten this one, you can't get it off, or you have to fiddle with it to get it off, and we don't want that. So just hand tighten this. I've had to put a screwdriver, a big one, all the way through it and twist it enough to get it just broke loose because it was on there so tight before. Not on this vehicle. On other vehicles I've changed oil in. The other thing you want to make sure that you do is the other vehicle that I've had to change one of these in, I couldn't even get it all with a screwdriver. I stuck it in there and twisted it and it just rammed it all the way around. Luckily, the bolts holding the oil filter holder, that's on the 2009 Tacoma, there's 3 bolts. I was able to take that loose, take that whole piece off the side of the engine block, take it out. Then I was able to get it off when it's sitting on the ground. or on the bench. So don't over tighten these. Just put it on there. Like I said, put your little oil around the seal there. Put it on there by hand. Just good. Don't use one of them wrenches. Don't crank it down. When your hood shocks wear out like this one and won't hold the hood up, there's what you can use that tool for. Besides over tightening the oil filter. Use it your own easement though. Like I tell you, this is just how I do it. When you go to put this drain plug back on, you just want to see it's still loose right here. I can still move it by hand, see? Like this. This one's a 14. One. And then right there, see it's tight. Just go. And that's it. You don't torque that down. Don't use a big wrench. Any of that. It's all you want. Because you definitely don't want this stuck. You get this stuck on this specific vehicle, you can get to the bolts on the oil pan around here to get it off. But on some vehicles you can't because there's stuff in the way. And so that makes, if you strip that off, makes it for a really bad day for you. So like I said, just barely tighten it. Just get it snug. Don't over tighten it. So looking where your oil goes when you look at the front of the engine. You'll see this little thing right here. Tells you that's where the oil goes. In case you didn't know, that's an oil can. That's a drop of oil. Right here in the front. I'm pretty sure this thing holds like 4.7 quarts. Sorry, I don't have the liter conversion for you, but 4.7 quarts, which I believe converts over to 4.73 liters or something other. 5 quarts. I just put 5 quarts in. I've never had any kind of issues with it. Goes right in here. Put that. Another thing I do to keep from getting oil all over this right here, put a rag around it. Put your little rag around it so we'll spill a couple drops or whatever around this right here. Worry about getting there where you don't have to clean it up. Put your little rag around it. Assuming you don't have a funnel. I don't have a funnel at the current moment, so this is the next best thing. If you have a funnel, that's optimal. Use a funnel. If not, do this. Keep oil, keep it clean. Oil's in there. This done, the next thing you want to do is wipe all this down with a rag. All that oil ended up over here, and the reason why in the event you got an oil leak, if you leave stuff on this and you drive it and you get out and look and there's oil on the ground, you don't know if it's actually leaking, something's leaking in here, or you don't know that there's actual leak from you changing oil. So wipe all this down. You should go without saying, fellas. Wipe it all down. Alright, so now we're going to start this thing up. When we start this thing up, I want to stress this. When you start this thing right here up, see that red light right there? Just like the one that's on the cap. It should only stay on for a minute after you start it. But you know you're getting oil pressure. So it went off. If you do that and it don't go off, turn the engine off. Something's wrong. You got a massive leak. Just want to let it run here, I don't know, 30 seconds. Enough to know that you're getting oil pressure to everything. Everything has adequate pressure so you can check for leaks. And you want to make sure that light comes on, because if it's something's really loose or it's pouring out a lot of oil, that light will come back on and say, hey, something's wrong, I'm not getting oil pressure. If that light comes back on, turn the vehicle off immediately. Let this thing run here. Go back. Check all the things that you took loose, the drain bolt, the oil filter, and the cap. Make sure everything's tight. Check for leaks underneath the vehicle before you get it off the stands, or jack stands, or ramps in my case. Do that.